Okay, and so let's get rid of this. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Um, but I'm gonna go in here and open up Pascal and get started. So actually, let's open up the lab. Okay, so we just need a checkpoint with two animations, one for just idle and one for when we activate the checkpoint. And then for the portal, basically we need the same thing. We need a portal when it's just sitting there, and then a portal when we activate it. So I'm going to use Pascal. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And for my checkpoint, it doesn't have to be very big. It could be big. It could be whatever size you want, but I'm just going to stick with 32 by 32. And then for your portal, again, it actually doesn't really have to be big. It could be whatever size, but I'm going to make that one a little bigger. And I'm going to put both animations into one sprite sheet this time. So it's a little bit simpler. And so yeah, let's just do a little quick sketch. So I'm going to get my pen tool. So for our checkpoint, so we have like a level, right? Like we have some platforms, and let's say our player starts over here, and let's say there's some like really challenging obstacles here, and then we'll just have like a little checkpoint here. And so I'm just going to use a little flag because that's what you see in a lot of video games, but you could use really anything for this. And we want to give it a little animation so that we can see it, so it kind of like draws our attention, so the player won't just like jump over it or something. And then once we arrive at the portal, we need to activate it some way to show the player that they've activated. And we can add a sound as well. And then, we can add as many of these as we need, but usually we'll put one after some series of challenges so that the player doesn't have to like do the same thing over and over again if they fall through and die. And so the code is written in a way that you can add as many of these as you want, and it'll just keep track of them for you. You basically just have to set it up. So we'll use the script. We'll look at the script for that on Thursday. But for now, I'm just going to make my little checkpoints. So I'm going to start with kind of my basic flag design. I'm going to get like a brown color. So it'll be like kind of made out of wood or something. That looks pretty good. So let's see, I'll just draw like a little base for the flag down here. I'm gonna do something pretty simple. Okay, just that. And then I'll draw the flagpole, just a couple lines. Maybe 3 pixels wide. And then maybe do a little ball at the top kind of thing. And then I'll just draw a flag. So let's get a different color. I want to get something that kind of sticks out, so I'll get like a yellow color. And I'll draw a little flag. Kind of fill this in. And I'm just going to make it look like it's kind of waving. I'm just going to use 2 frames, so it's going to be a really simple animation. Nothing too fancy. That looks pretty good. So then I'll just like duplicate this. I should have duplicated the pole by itself. That would have been smarter, but it's okay. Let's erase the flag part. So I'm just going to select this and do Control X, get rid of that. And then I'll just kind of erase this part. And actually, while I'm here, let's just color this part in the right color, and I'll duplicate this frame so I don't keep having to erase. So I'll make my second animation down here. Okay, so I've got my flag, I've got the yellow part. Let's add a second yellow part so it looks animated. So I'm just gonna kind of do the same thing, but kind of do the opposite waves. Okay. So let's slow that down a little bit. And just delete my frames for a second. Okay, so that looks good enough. It's just moving around. The player will notice it. And so then once we get the flag, I'm just going to change the color. That'll be a really obvious difference. You could also change the direction. My flag is kind of like has more space on the right than the left, but maybe I'll just make it wrap around a little bit. So once you get the flag, let's change it to like a blue color. And it doesn't really matter that much which color you use, as long as it's different or something changes. As long as something changes, we'll know that the state has changed. So I'm going to draw like a little blue one, and I'm just going to kind of wrap it down around here and fill that in. Okay, that looks pretty good. It looks a little goofy. Let's turn off the onion skin. Let's get rid of this. Okay, that's good enough. It doesn't look that flag-like, but I think we'll get the idea. And let's do a second little blue guy. Oops, my pen. And let's make this one up here a little bit. And we need to give it a little bit more. Okay, so I think that's going to be good enough. I can always come back and make changes if it looks bad when I put it in Godot. So let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to click Save As, put it in my art folder. Let's see. Let's put it in the rewards area, even though it's not technically a reward. It's something that we want to get. So just call this my checkpoint. And click Save. Okay, so that's the checkpoint. I've got two animations. I've got the first animation just to attract the player. And then when the player hits the checkpoint, we'll switch to this animation so they'll know that that checkpoint is saved. And if we have more than one checkpoint, we'll just kind of flip the animation. So if we hit another checkpoint, then we'll flip the other one back. So that's basically how a checkpoint works. So let's move on to our portal. And for this one, I'm just going to do a door. So it's going to be really simple. And I'm just going to kind of make it floating in the middle of nowhere. So it's going to look a little goofy, but that's okay. So for my door, I need it to be a little bit bigger than the player. So I'm going to make the canvas bigger. I'm going to make it 128 by, I want it to be tall. So let's do 256. That might be too tall. Let's see how that looks. That's pretty tall. Let's actually bring in my player as a reference. So I'm going to go to import, browse images, go to art, go to character, and there's my character, and words. Oh, actually, this is the wrong one. That was my character design, not my actual animation. So actually, let's bring in a Pascal file. Character animation, character idle. Okay, so there's our character. So we just want to make a door that fits around the character. So let's resize this a little bit. We probably actually don't need to make it that much wider. So let's do like 96 for the width and 128 for the height. And resize. Okay, that looks good. I'm just going to move the character down. And then we can draw a door around the character. So I'm going to use my pen tool again, and I'll use another brownish color for the wood of the door. And I'll just kind of draw, let's get a wider pen. And I'm holding shift to draw a straight line. Actually, that doesn't seem to work. Let's see, how do I do that? I thought you could, oh, I need the line tool. Let's draw a straight line with the line tool. And then we'll draw up here, over, down. And then I'll get the bucket tool and fill it in. And this looks okay. It kind of looks a little weird. I'll use the lighten tool and add some like lines to this. Maybe that'll make it look more like a door. Actually, let's keep using the line tool. So maybe I'll make like a little, oh, I can't use the, okay, let's just make a lighter color. And I'll use the line tool and make like a little inside frame here. Okay, that's a little bit more door-like. Maybe we'll have doorknob. So I'll get like a black color and just draw like a little circle for the doorknob. Okay. I guess the thing is my door is just going to be kind of sitting in the middle of nowhere. It's going to look kind of weird. So it'll have to be kind of like a magical door or something like that. Maybe I'll add some like glowing light around it. So anyway, this is the idle part of the animation. Let's give it some like glowing light since it's a magic door. So I'll get like a greenish, bluish color and just draw some dots around it. And this will also help draw attention to it because it's just kind of brown right now. But anyway, I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because we are limited for time, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, I should have duplicated it before I did that, but I can delete these simply. So I'm going to duplicate that using Shift-N, and then I'm just going to delete these guys. So I'll just select and do Control-X, select these and do Control-X, select these and do Control-X. One more, I'll just erase. And then I'll go back to my pen tool and I'll just add different little dots. And so this will give it a little glowing effect. So it'll draw the player's attention to it and hopefully make it seem less weird that there's just a door standing in the middle of nowhere. Okay, and now we can just delete the player. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We've got this weird door that's glowing. So let's make a couple copies of this and we'll do an open door. Actually, I'm just gonna do a new frame and just draw on top of this. So how will I show the doors open? I'll just like, I could just like replace, actually, yeah, I'm just gonna keep this simple. I'm just gonna replace the inside of the door with like a black hole. So I'm going to duplicate this a couple times, or just once actually. Just duplicate this and delete my, whoops. Delete the dots again. Okay, and now here's what I'll do. I'll get my bucket tool, change it to black, and fill in these colors with black. How come they still look different? Oh, because I have the onion skin on. There we go. Okay, so now the door is just gone, being super lazy here. And let's draw some, I'm gonna duplicate this one, and I'm just gonna draw some like pink stuff inside the door, because it's a magic door now. So we'll change the animation to kind of be inside of it. And when this animation is over anyway, the player is just going to disappear into this portal and the new level is going to open. So it doesn't really matter that much. It's not going to be around for very long. Okay. I could do something where it like fades out maybe, but I think this is fine. We just need some type of transition. So with basically the same thing with all of our different game components, like the obstacles, rewards, and stuff like that, we need a sound and we need a change in the animation to communicate the change in game state. Okay, so we have our little portal, we have our idle, and then we have our active states. So I'm gonna save as, and I'll put this in rewards as well. Since it is kind of like a goal, I guess I could call that rewards and goals or something. So this is our portal. Save that. And Now we're good. So we'll put these into the game on Thursday. Okay, let me stop recording.